Hello and welcome to Your Desire Mastermind. It's so good to have you all here today. And as we've been going along on this journey, I wanted to take a minute to kind of pull some pieces together and wrap some things together. Each one of these stands on their own, but you all have been on this journey now. We just have 2 weeks left. We're 10 weeks in. And 90 days is a really powerful amount of time, especially when you're working in the transformational space. A lot of you that are on here, as well as being in this transformational space with me, you all also help others. And 90 days is a great amount of time. I always tell people it can take a good solid 30 days to get things moving and going and showing up, and you to start learning how to work with the principles and the ideas. And when you're in the middle of any transformation, and then you're in the thick of it, and then you start working on solutions, and whatever somebody shows up saying is the one main thing they want to work on in that period of time, in a 90-day or whatever period of time it is, everything is interconnected. And a lot of times with your own clients, you'll find that what they show up and say they want help working on is what they think would bring them the most relief and bring them everything they want if this one thing was handled. And you quickly start seeing and sensing and feeling that there are other things, even to the point where we get into it and very quickly I see, oh, this is not at all. This is the presenting thing top of their mind, but here's the real things that they're afraid to ask for or afraid to confront or just can't fully see yet or go there yet. And so being really aware in this time frame, you all have been able to learn something each week, take a piece each week, and then keep moving forward and then watch what happens. When you put yourself in a container, you start an experiment, you work on one key thing. You can now take this, and every quarter of the year, every 90 days, you can pick one key thing to focus on, one key thing to work on, and keep moving forward in a set container like this. And then you're really paying attention to what's showing up, what are the breadcrumbs, what are the obstacles, and you get a chance to really look at it clearly. When I've worked with different coaches as well as healers, spiritual advisors, the 90-day container is one of those things that we used, because it is also shown that when you're setting goals and intentions and then you're moving forward in the direction, taking the aligned, inspired action, by the time you get to the end of 90 days, you can have shifted energetically to the point that now things need to be reassessed. You take action, you assess, you adjust, and you keep doing that. So the more you can get into these inspired, aligned actions in the moment, and then from that, you can continue to take the actions to assess what's going on and to adjust. So you all have been learning to do that. This is a whole body of work, as you all know, and over time you do better as you learn better. And it's learning to go from, here's just something I learned and I'm going to try it out. I remember in early manifesting days, I'd go to a manifesting circle, or I'd go to a theta healing, or I'd go to see a healer or an inspirational speaker, and I'd get one piece of it. But it becomes a way of living and being, and it becomes something you start living and being instead of just doing. So at this point, you all really want to, if you're not already to some degree, which you all are, being really aware of those two key things: emotional mastery and energy management, because all of these tools work, all of this works, and yet the more you can be clean with your spiritual hygiene and be clean with your energy and catch those things, it can be faster and easier to manifest and faster and easier to go through the things that come up. And I always tell you all to always add on there, I now learn all my lessons with grace and ease. It doesn't mean something big may not come up at some point, but that for the most part, you've done the work, you know how to see your stuff coming, you recognize your stuff to some degree, and you're willing and open to really do the work. So you don't need to learn the hard lessons. Things can come up for you with more grace and ease. One thing I also want you to be really aware of, for most of you, it's a reminder, if not all of you, that there is a concept of whatever you think is in the way is the way. And this has been a very important one, because people will get stuck. Oh, I thought I was supposed to do this right now, or I thought it would go this way and it didn't. It must not be the time. God must be saying no. I didn't do something right. But what appears to be in the way, and people will then stop their forward movement and say, once I handle this, I'll come back to it. People over and over would say, I know I'm supposed to start my business, but now I've got this big thing to be healed. I got to stop everything and then I'll come back to it, when what is showing up that appears to be in the way is the way through it. And on the other side is everything you're going to then share with other people from your own growth. So the more you can learn to stay in that and say, not I'm off track, not I'm off my path. You're never off your path, but instead, okay, this is exactly what's happening. This is exactly what's being called for. Coming back to this emotional mastery and energy management, this involves our nervous system. This involves our brain, our physiology, and then working with all the energies that we are in energetic exchange with. The universe, source, all the people in our life, even businesses have an energetic component to them, as do things in our culture and things that have a lot of energy around them. So you're always either responding from that higher path or you're reacting. And I had several mentors that teach the whole notion of there's always a master path and a student path. In that way, sometimes things will appear to come back around. And again, you might start saying, did I not already do that? Did I not already work through that? Did I not already learn that? You did, but now you're getting to elevate it to the master path and take it in an even higher direction toward your highest expression and your highest good, your highest and best. So in that same way, really recognizing, working on these things in an ongoing way and recognizing what is showing up. This master path and the student path, just like our journey is not linear from here to here. Oh, and now I'll never have to deal with that again. There have been issues that I have put to bed and they're done. And something has shifted in me, sometimes quickly, because it can happen in an instant, sometimes over a period of time, and they don't come back around. But there are a few things that are our core issues, our key pieces that we even came in as a soul to work on in this body, in this lifetime, and they will come back around. So it's a spiral, not a continuum, not an A to Z journey. And again, first I was in this energetic stance, now I'm in this energetic stance, and I can come at it differently. So the more you can take that minute and give yourself that time to respond and not react, and use your tools and get into that set place. I learned somewhere along the way, you cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought. And I would hear this and I understood it, but then I really got it to the point that I fully know and believe now, I cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought. If I let myself go there, I'm putting charged emotion, which becomes energy in motion, charged emotion, energy in motion, into whatever I'm manifesting and working on, and then it goes into the order, and it can trump all the other things that are the positives that I'm bringing. And it may feel good in the moment. And some of these are just habits that we get into. We can fall into old habits. Oh, well, this always happens. Oh, there it is again, or I never. And sometimes it just feels good to get really mad and indignant at somebody or something. And I'll catch myself. It doesn't mean, I always talk to you all about, it doesn't mean totally suppress your feelings. Let them go through you. But in your responding versus reacting, don't just let yourself fly off the handle into these feelings. And these feelings used to derail me, where I could go off and ruminate in them for a very long time, and that becomes a bad habit. But when you know that everything you're manifesting is at stake, you start realizing it's like, would you pay $10 to be able to have this fit? Would you, are you willing to keep from having what you want for a month, to deny or to hold off? You start thinking about, is it really worth it? Now that made me think for some reason of I've seen now, and I think these could be really good. Those smash rooms, those anger rooms. I just saw one on TV again the other day. So there you're going, sometimes I'm like, I would like to just smash a glass or smash a plate. But then after I do it, I'm like, well, crap, now that didn't really help me. But something like that, getting the anger out or working through it, but not allowing other people and other things to derail you and throw you off. It's a different way of working with your emotions. Abraham teachings always talk about, you start learning, and one of their books is all about the vortex. If you get that one, or you watch it on YouTube or listen to it, and it's about identifying when you're in the vortex and when you're out of the vortex, and how much harder it is to create what you want and need and desire when you've come out of the vortex and you're fighting all that 3D and the stories, and you're allowing yourself to just react, and you're allowing other people to live in your head. It's that whole, I'm drinking poison and why aren't those people getting sick? It's all of that, versus really being able to hold your center while it all swirls around you. Because sometimes when you're manifesting, as you shift energetically, all the people and things, as we've talked about before, start popping up. And y'all have had some examples of that, and things pop up. And that's when you want to hold your center the most, because some of these things are going to have to recalibrate to your energy. Some of them are going to fall away. Some of them are going to resist and push against. And the most challenging thing for you is to hold your center and say, no matter the evidence in front of me right now, I know this is true. I know this is mine. I know this is here for me, and really holding that and letting all of this swirl around you. And that's when you start getting mastery. The other thing I want you to recognize and remember is there is a choice point in every moment, and every choice either moves you toward or away from what you want. And that can help you make your decisions. Is this moving me toward or away from what I want? And being willing to take that honest inventory. If you know something is moving you away from what you want, but you're going to choose to do it, and then just hold that for yourself. Sometimes choices we make are choices that we feel we need to make in the moment, and they might not be fully moving us forward, like stopping what we're doing to take care of a loved one, or responding to an emergency. Other times it's getting pulled off track. So recognizing, if you really think about that and become aware, there's a choice point in every moment. Nothing is neutral. That includes how you choose to feel, think, react, respond to everything. And then it all affects the manifesting, and it all affects the toll on you as well. So once you make a decision and you make a choice, the first step is always make a decision. The second step is own it 100%. That means getting rid of the bad habits of self-doubting and second guessing. Once you've made the decision, support yourself 100% until you change your mind or you make a different decision, because it's all that 1 foot in and 1 foot out that stops things, that brings you a mix of what you want and don't want. It jams the works up. So really support yourself 100%. And in the beginning, with some of my decisions, I could only hold that maybe 24 hours. And then I would get better and better and stronger supporting myself. What is my own self-talk? What do I believe? What do I feel? Because in the middle of everything, you really, if you think about it, second guessing and self-doubting just create stories that aren't true, stories that you don't need and they don't help you. And you really can't make a mess of everything as long as you're clear on your intentions. So you always want to come back to what was your intention. It's just like when I was learning energy healing, and those of you who've learned energy healing can relate to this. And, in the beginning, you're learning it and they're teaching you a protocol like Reiki or something like that. And there are people panicking. I think I moved my hand wrong. I think, what if I wrote the symbol wrong? What did I do? And then I was told, you do the best you can, but spirit will clean it up. You do the best you can. That's how we learn, by protocols. But in the same way, when you're manifesting, spirit will clean it up. So you go back to your intention. What were my intentions? What can I fix and change? But self-doubting and second guessing makes a mess for you. So you always going to want to go back to your intention. That's why something like this is so powerful. If you set a powerful intention for 90 days, you jump in, you have all the teachings and tools, and you turn it into an experiment, and you're focusing on that one thing for 90 days, and you're watching everything that shows up, because all of it matters and all of it counts. It's all energy. And that's how you can start really getting a handle, one thing at a time. And then you get to where you can be like the juggler, and you're juggling relationship, work, money, home, career, all of those things, and you're able to work on all of them at the same time. These take strengthening muscles and learning skills. So desire and intention, we've been talking about this whole time as two of the biggest keys. Go back to your desires. You can always trust your desires. What are your true desires? Because those are in your soul. And then we know wherever there is a desire, a way has already been made. Then what is my intention? And then we set forth with the breadcrumbs and the opportunities and stepping in and being all of who we are. So there's this other thing to start thinking about, and that is part of this whole journey of transformation, is that you are becoming the person who gets these results. You're not fully already a match, or you would already have it, but it's in the becoming the person. So it is making sure that as you're manifesting and living your life and working through these things, you're not going into the past and taking only the evidence from the past and bringing that into the present, and you're not future tripping into the future about what if this doesn't happen, worrying about things that may or may not happen, and that you're really in the present moment. And instead of future tripping to what could possibly happen and go wrong, and what if it doesn't work out, there's a woman who built her whole business on that. She calls it what if up, because so many people would say, what if it doesn't work out? And it's that whole, what if it does? So we can sit there and think of all the things, what if it doesn't, but what if it does? And once you get in that energy, there's an uplift in your solar plexus, and all your energy starts going up. And then you can tell the story, what if it does work out? And then you'll deal with the what if it doesn't as they actually show up, because then they're just feedback of what needs to be cleared, healed, and resolved. So all of this of you cleaning up what's inside of you. The other thing is now you've been on this journey. You all have been becoming very self-aware. You've manifested things for yourself and you've learned and you've grown in the time you've been on this journey. And so you will be able to see from the other side of that how you can turn around and share any or all of it with other people and how you can help other people, because most, if not all of you here are really called to do that as part of this journey, to the point that, and I did this a lot, and I still have to catch myself. I can get so caught up, even when I'm starting into something, I can get so caught up. Oh, I can't wait to help other people with this. And I'm still in the middle of it. And I'm already like, oh, I'm going to help all these people with this. And I'm all in, and I have to honor my own journey and let myself have my own journey. And sometimes my journey's longer because then I'm like, well, let me fix this so I can go start helping other people with it and talk about it on social media or write about it, when really I have to unfold and become the person to get those results. So don't lose sight of it. It's your journey, and your journey is your journey, and it takes the time that is yours. And so as we think about all of that and we really let all of that settle, now you're pulling all the pieces together. And in the same way, it's like if somebody gave you a guidebook and here's all the rules and principles and here's how it all works. As you're playing the game, as you're going through it, some of them you remember and some of them you're like, what was that? I got to go back and look. If you've ever played a game and then people are like, go back and look because we don't remember the rules on that one. You're not going to be able every minute to put all the pieces together, but you master one piece and then you're working on the next piece, and it just becomes this orchestration that is your life, and this experiment that is your life, and then also your work. That's what I want to leave you with today.